Yo people, LSM here. This time I want to talk about my personal tier list for Crossing Void. Um, those characters are being evaluated until level 59 because on level 60 some of those got their elemental, which will make it a unfair comparison. This tier list is also directed to new players, so that if you pull one of those mains on the gacha, you could be certain that is a good option to heist them. So let's start. Silvaria. So Silvaria is a tank. She's the best tank character in the game with a good exclusive talent for tanking. The problem is that early game, mid game, end game, you don't need a tank. Crossing Void hates tank characters because they don't know damage, and damage is everything in this game. Silvaria itself is a special case because she have two cross skills that are very powerful. The problem is that you don't want to use those skills early game, and she's not worth until you can farm her, which is very later on. She's chapter 12 I think, so at that point you can start heisting her because she's a decent team member for modes where you don't mind taking damage, but early game she's terrible. Rentaro is a worse tank than Silvaria. He have no attack, his exclusive talent boosts damage, but the activation condition is terrible, so he's bad. Shizuo is the same, he's a pseudo tank with some damage options. His exclusive is also damage up, that activation condition is not bad, but his skill points skills are very bad, and because his attack is low, his climax does no damage. Akko is another tank character. Her exclusive talent is good for some niche uses, but she is too niche for that. Her skills are very bad herself. Front regen is terrible. Defense up, damage reduction is also terrible on a 5 skill point for PvE because you want to kill, not to survive. Her climax is very good, but only when you want to get all 3 stars on some stages that ask for too many things that you don't have raised. So don't use her. Next we have Jokina. She is a dispeller. The Jokina is weird because early game she is terrible. Her skill is very bad. It's a dispel that only does the dispel on the last hit. So if you are against a defense up character on PvE, all of her skill damage will be reduced. Only the last hit will be normal damage. Her exclusive talent is also very good for the Decrepit Dream, but for normal battles it's bad because you only use it one time, and probably on her 0 skill point. She have a good cross with Tomo, but both aren't farmable, so it's not an option that I recommend that you pick. Next we have Emmy. Emmy to me is a B just because of how farmable she is. She have the first fragment stage in the game, she is in the Mirage, and she's a good investment for the future because of her cross skill with Sadao. And since she is super farmable, it's easy to get her on high talents, which helps her with stats. She's not that good as DPS, but you will probably be a stronger dispeller in the game and a nice option for her damage. Next we have Miyuki. Miyuki I think it's a B too because she have a very good attack stat. Her cross skill option are amazing. She have single target for mid, for here she have a 4 skill point away, a 5 skill points away, and a 3 skill point spell. The problem is that the spell in itself is bad, her climax skill is terrible, and her exclusive talent is good, but the activation condition make it very bad. So she basically have no exclusive talent. The thing is, if Tatsuya, her 4 skill point away cross skill was farmable, she would be a A, but because he isn't, she's only B. Because Zero is the only away option she have for cross, and 5 skill points is too much for early game things. Only works when you have batteries, and non-limited characters you don't have that option. So she's a B. Also, in the fact that Miyuki support is one of the best characters in the game on the non-limited pool, and not raising Miyuki's up is a mistake in itself. Next, we have Quentor. Quentor is a C. The game don't like him. He have excellent skills to use uh, full damage. The problem is that his exclusive talent is terrible for PvE. He have very low attack, and because of that he doesn't do damage besides being a DPS with good skills. His cross skill, he have a okay option, but mostly you want his normal skills. Still, he is farmable, but quite later for quote unquote new players. But the problem itself that he does no damage. Next we have Kirito. So Kirito is hard to hate him because his exclusive talent is one of the strongest exclusive talents in the game, where all of his skills cost one less skill point. The problem is that his low attack, his skills are terrible. He's a shield, a wand is useless in this game, and his climax is a area, but his low attack, his cross skills are mostly terrible. The best ones are Asuna and Lifa, but the thing is, on Lifa cross, they do low damage, and on Asuna cross skill, it's good, but Kirito is not farmable, and Asuna is late game to farm. So for early game he is a better option, but don't let him fool you, because on some things that can fit his exclusive talent on the rotation can do some amazing scores, because he enables impressive weapons for low cost. Next we have Accelerator, and Accelerator is weird. I think that one of those two is hard to do a score to him because he is strange. His kit is uh, one good skill, being his 2 skill point auto damage, and his climax is also very strong. The thing is that you can't use both. If you use his skills, you can't use his climax, and if you use his climax, you can't use his skills. So it's very weird to use him. You'll probably be wanting to use his climax skill more, and for that you need a good support for him. His cross skills are also terrible. They cost uh, they cost 1 skill point too much. Like, he have a 4 skill points away that hits like a 3 skill point. He have a 5 skill point that hits like 4. And the game hates him. His exclusive talent is decent. Is one of the damage ups. I think he will be at C because we have good support options for him, but him by himself is terrible. Next we have the launch single target trio, and let's go fast on those. Asuna, I personally think that for early game she's a D, because first, her skills are terrible. They have terrible single target skills. For cross, she have a good cross skills, Emmy and Kirito support. The thing is, on Emmy cross skill, that is a AoE skill, and you want Asuna to be a front character, so it's strange for her role. And on Kirito cross is a front cross skill that would be good if they had at least a little more attack. Asuna and Kirito support are low attack characters, so they will hit very weak. Like 3 skill points skills can hit more than their cross. Also, her exclusive talent for early game is useless. It is a crit rate skill. The problem is that you can't crit on early game and you don't have crit damage to make for it. So it's mostly useless. Next we have Kuru Kimi. She is also very weak. Her her skills are the same as Asuna, so very bad. Her exclusive talent is even worse. Is a chance to reflect damage, and reflect on PvE is terrible. It's a talent for PvP, which is god tier and banned for PvP, but for PvE is useless. Her cross skills options are strange. She have a 5 skill point on mid and a 3 skill point on front. The problem is that one costs too much, and the other doesn't hit the mid enemy that she wants to kill. Next we have Kurokum. Kuroko also have the same skills, but she's here, so it's very bad. Her exclusive talent was terrible. It gets better later on, but for early game it's terrible. It's a damage boost after Climax. At that point, why would you need that damage boost when the enemy is already dead? Her cross skills are sadly weak, in my opinion. She have a Mikoto cross that is area damage, so she's a here character that will attack away, so it's strange. She have a Wiharu single target for here, which would be good, but have the same problem as Asuna, that Wiharu is very low attack. At least Wiharu is farmable, so she have that for her. And she have a Tomo seal. The problem is that seal does low damage, so for the cost. So it's not much advised for PvE if you want to kill using a seal. Next we have Kojo. Kojo, I think that by himself he is a C. But for story use, I think it's fair to raise him at B, because his exclusive talent makes him immortal for the first time he will die, which allows you to cheese some stages. His kit also have a divinity, which is a godsend to get stars on story stage, and his skill 1 is not bad. The problem is that his climax skill is terrible, and you mostly want him to with Jokina support, because he doesn't have a 0 skill point skill, so Jokina can help him with that. Besides that, he's a fine character. He gets weaker as the game goes on, because his exclusive talent become useless since you don't die anymore. But still, for early game, he is okay to use. Next, we have Kirino. So Kirino is a strange character. She is a healer. Her climax is bad. Her exclusive is questionable. It's not a bad effect. The problem is that the activation condition wants her on low HP, and the modes that you want to use her, you don't want her to reach low HP, so you never use her exclusive talent. She have fine cross options. She have a here single target, a front single target, and a super heal. Yeah, she have a super heal. I think she will be B, because as a healer she does an excellent job. She probably have the most options as a healer in the game, but she is not the best healer because she is not versatile on heals. But still, for her job as a healer, I think she does it fine, and the superhero option is nice to have. Next we have Isaiah. Isaiah is one of those cases with high attack and bad skills. He have a backfire, which is a worse bleed. His exclusive talent is decent, but the activation condition is strange. And his cross skills doesn't help his kit at all, because he doesn't have a mid damage cross to make him a mid DPS. But still, I think if you use him by himself, he's a C, because his skills are terrible. But if you going to slap a good support on him, he's a B, because he is a statistic that have a good climax skill and a decent exclusive talent. So I think you can go with B. It's not bad to hide him, because he have his uses. Just don't use his own skill and don't pick the bad cross that he have. Next we have Shanna. So we have a bleeder here. Thing is, bleed on early game is not bad, because you cannot crit, you don't have final damage, and you don't have the equips that boost your own damage. Shanna also have the strongest, yet the highest exclusive talent value. She reached 25%, where mostly here that have a damage up exclusive only reach 15, and we have target that reach 20. The thing with Shanna is that for early game she is only decent. I think that she's on the same tier as Miyuki, because she doesn't have a lot of options, but she have the power. I think that her value gets higher as you get on later game, because even if the blade doesn't gets worse, she have a damage option with Wilhelmina Cross, and her elementum for an unlimited character is very strong, which saves herself. But for early game I think she is fine at B. It will not be bad, but not the best option that you can rise. Next we have Mikoto. I think Mikoto is the first rank 8 tier, because she's good at the start, she's good at the mid, and she's good at later game. Only problem she have is that her exclusive talent value is low. She only reaches 10%, where mostly reach 15, some 20, and some 25. So her exclusive talent is weak on numbers, but is one of the strongest exclusive talents that non-limited can get, because it synergizes with Muramasa Impression Weapon. Her climax is very strong, and the other problem that she have is that she doesn't have a good ship away skill. She have a bleed, which is fine at the start, but for later game it's bad. But still, she is one of the best characters that you can get. Next we have Tomoka. Tomoka is hard to place, because she gives one skill point every turn for your team, but she increases the damage that your team take. So first of all, if it was for her skills, she would be here. Her skills are terrible. Her climax is decent, but not for PvE. Self-defense up for the team is terrible, and regeneration HP is also terrible. Her cross skills options are not bad. The problem is that they all have low attack, so she will do no damage, and she have a heal cross skill with Kaga. Both are farmable. The problem is that they are chapter 13 and chapter 15, so very late game. At that point you probably red hazed Kirino or Lifa as your healer, so it's hard to go for her. But in my opinion she is a C, because her exclusive like Kirito is very powerful, but the burden that she have on the damage up against your own team is very strong for early game. So she will probably make your team die very fast. I don't recommend her early game, but late game she's a easy ass just because her exclusive talent is that good. But early game she is C in my opinion. I don't think that she can compete with solid options like those characters here. Next, we have Euki. So Euki is the good mid damage that we have. That doesn't need a cross skill. She is the good mid nuker. For early game, in my opinion, she is probably a B because her exclusive talent is crit rate like Asuna, so you can't use because you cannot crit and your crit damage is terrible. Her kit is very good. She have excellent skills just like Quentor. She have full mid damage and a mid nuke, and she have good attack. The problem is that her cross skills, one is AoE and one is a mid climax that is weaker. Cosmore is weaker, but since she have good skills by herself, it's fine. Yeah, if she had a good exclusive talent, I think she would be a easy S. I can probably leave her at A. It's hard to say if she is A or top B. Mm, I think that I will leave her at B, top B, because in my opinion she is below Mikoto. She is not as strong as Mikoto because Mikoto is a good pick everywhere. Yuki doesn't have what she needs to be A or S. But don't be mistaken, she is very strong, and later game she's a easy S because her elemental buff is absurd. Is the strongest element in the game probably, besides Bride. Yeah, for 10 unlimited characters she gets the strongest elemental, which makes her crazy powerful. She becomes a monster. But I think for early game she is a B plus, almost A. Yeah, almost A. It's hard. I really want to put her on A. Yeah, let's her on A because she has the damage. She is missing the exclusive talents, but I think it's fair. It's fair. Now we got to Taiga. Taiga is S tier. She is the best single target character that you can get for before level 60 because her exclusive talent is a monster. Her skills are a monster. She have a skill hate buff on her kit, which makes her hit hard. Like she have the damage. It's all you need to know. If you are searching for a character that will kill your enemy, it's Taiga. She's crazy. I don't have much to talk about her because there isn't much to talk. Her kit is damage up, with doing damage, with more damage, with exclusive talent with damage, high attack and damage. Taiga is damage incarnate. Next we have Kuroneko, also S tier. She is a area version of Taiga. Taiga is single target. Kuroneko is area, and both are crazy DPS characters. You can't compare. They do so much damage by themselves. Can work alone. Can use good support characters. They are crazy. And I think that's it, people. This is my tier list for the non-limited characters before their elementals and before level 60. There are some that I'm not sure of the position, but I think it's fair, and others that get better with time, but since this is early game, I think this will be mine. That's it, people. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.